Yeah, good evening. Good evening, Maharaj.
So we are going to start our today's program. Today we are having three very eminent speakers. The first speaker is Mr. Shukumar Mundal. Shukumar is Vice President, Refining R&D, Reliance Industries Limited, Jamnagar. He worked 17 years at Indian Oil R&D, Faridabad, and thereafter working more than 14 years at the Refining R&D Center, Reliance Industries Limited, in development, commissioning of demo plant and design and commissioning of demo plant and providing advanced technical support to various refinery processes. He has got 45 patents in his credit, 20 publications, and 15 conference publications. He is the author of chapters in preprints, ACS Symposium series and book on energy and technology. He received national awards for successful commercialization of indigenous technology and R&D efforts in refining industries such as NPMP DST, Petrofed, ICI India Limited Award, ICC. Uh, Let me tell you that he has not mentioned that Mr. Mondal is so humble and unassuming. He has not mentioned so many things, whatever he is having in his credit. But he was the Platinum Jubilee Speaker of Indian Science Congress in 2018. That is at 105th Indian Science Congress. It was held in Manipur. So he was there as the Platinum Jubilee Speaker. So I request Mr. Mondal to start his deliberation.
Yeah, good evening. I think I'm audible, right?
Yes.
My presentation is visible?
Yes, please go ahead. Mr. Mondal, please go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, good evening, Maharaj and all esteemed participants. First of all, I really thank you thank you to the organizer, giving me the opportunity to share some of the innovations related to waste to value creation in our Reliance industries. So uh, this shows basically the presentation shows is a little bit exaggerated. It's going out of the screen. Is it from our side or there's a problem from there? Anyway, so this is a standard disclaimer statement. So it says that whatever I am just sharing you, my company is not responsible for this information, and that is my responsibility. And you should not use this information for taking in any technical decision. Okay, so this gives some glimpse of our company, Reliance Industries Limited. So Reliance, as you know, it is a really made in India, made for India, and made by Indians company. And it's treated its investors, or the big or small, as value partners in building world-class and world-class assets that have made India proud. Its business actually aligned with national goals and priorities for making India self-resilient, strong, and prosperous. And the products and service of this company basically have created immense societal value by touching the lives of 800 million Indians and potentially all 1.3 billion Indians. Now, at the beginning of a new and unprecedented waves of wealth creations for India by harnessing the power of new technologies to fire its driver's growth engine. Reliance actually there are three mega growth engines. The first here is the new one, the Geo, that is a digital life. Second is the Reliance Retails, and the old business is the Reliance Oil to Chemicals. In the retail, the connecting India digitally with unprecedented reach at affordable prices with superior customer experience. And as per the 2021, the first quarter data, it's more or less 400 million subscribers in less than 4 years since its inception. It makes a lot of growth also in the Reliance retail, serving entire spectrum of Indian society with 604 million footfalls in the financial years, supplying a diversified product portfolios of groceries, fashions, lifestyles, consumer electronics, connectivity through more than 11,000 stores across 28.7 million square feet the retail area. And the Reliance Oil to Chemicals is connecting people and business by providing transportation fuels in one of the fastest growing energy market, supplying petrochemicals to diversified end use industries manufacturing essential industrial and consumer goods using polymer and polyester. So the Reliance caters to a significant portions of the consumers spending through its digital and physical presence. So now I'm going to my presentations. So I'll basically cover 5 topics: the value creation from the waste refinery streams, how to sustain plastic business without pollutions, then agro biomass to green hydrogen, waste to wealth, that is a RIL, RCAT, HTL, and the nets zero CO2. So first I'll go with the DSO, that is disulfide oil or sulfur oil. See, disulfide oil is a byproduct of desulfurization process of LPG. So the one LPG, they are in the process called MEROX. The acronyms of the MEROX is basically mercaptan oxidations. So the LPG contains lighter mercaptans from C1 to mostly C3, C4. That imparts the odor and induces corrosion and cause environmental hazards. In the MEROX unit, that mercaptan laden LPG, that is a methyl mercaptan, ethyl mercaptans, and so on, that treated with caustic solution in presence of homogeneous catalyst. So that reaction is like that when we get the LPG, it's mostly come from FCC, that is a fluid catalytic cracking, or it also, the LPG comes from coker, delayed coker unit. And in addition, we have LPG source from that is called saturated or state run LPG. That basically comes from CDU. So these all LPGs after amine treatment. So the amine treatment basically to remove the hydrogen sulfide, H2S mostly. So after amine treatment, it gives is a basically caustic pre-wash, that is 8% caustic. So whatever residual H2S is there, still it is removed. Then I get the LPG with RSH is basically methyl mercaptan, ethyl mercaptan, propyl mercaptan, butyl mercaptans. Then it goes to the caustic extractors with 15% caustics, where all mercaptan is converted to sodium mercaptide. And then I get LPG, sweet LPG out. And then sodium mercaptide, when oxidized in presence of oxygen and um, the caustic regenerator, where it converted to disulfide oil is RSSS R. So this is called DSO, RSSIS to R. So this DSO contains around C4 disulfides, and total sulfur content in DSO is around 60 to 62%, 60 to 60% is basically greater than 60%. And it will, because it's I'm giving a sodium, the caustic treatment, so it has a sodium and the level it's a 1 ppm minimum, and it goes to as high as 30 ppm. So it's a waste product of the LPG Merox. But because of this because of the presence of sulfur, it has potential as an sulfiding additives for stream cracker and or hydrotreated catalyst treatment, and which can be a replacement of commercial DMDS. So dimethyl disulfide, it's being used commercially as an sulfiding agent in hydrotreater, catalyst sulfiding, and also stream cracker furnace to reduce scope. So, but problem is that as it has a sodium, because of that, this cannot be used directly in the as a sulfiding additives. So that's why as on date the DMDS is the usual practice is used an anti-coking additives for steam cracker and sulfiding additive for hydrotreater. And the DMDMS cost, if you see this costing, it's more or less more than $2,000 per metric ton at the DMDM cost. And all the DMDS is basically imported, and no plant in India for manufacturing this. And it is the government regulated product. And if you see the this side, right side, so why what the adverse effect of the sodium in cracker and hydrotreater? Because the sodium is present already DS. So this basically in the cracker, the sodium act as a catalyst and enhance the coke formations, and the very purpose it's not solved. And at the same time, if you use the DSO as a sulfiding agent containing sodium, it basically it's act and or enhance the catalyst lump formation due to fusing fusing of the catalyst extruded with sodium, and it also enhance the coke formation, and that end up to the higher pressure drops, and also it acts as a catalyst poisoning. So as such, this DSO, although it has a lot sulfur, but I cannot use as a sulfiding agent unless I have a suitable method to remove the sodium. And that was so with this background, it was our motivation to develop a process that can reduce the sodium lower than 1 ppm in the treated DSO. So yeah, this give again, it gives more a little bit more explanations that when I'm going to use as a cracker, it's basically, as I said, that it increase the coke formation, and that end up to the purpose like heat transfer coefficient is reduced, and then the the furnace side's heat requirement or temperature requirement will be high. So that deposited cokes hamper the heat transfer, increase the coil pressure drops, then skin temperature of the external tubes. So that's a issue. So that's basically additives, basically that DMDS is decomposed at high temperature, and then we get the sulfur. That sulfur basically poison that fresh metal on the furnace coils, mostly nickel and iron. So that sulfur it passivates, and that's why it reduces the coke formation. So that's why this sulfur is used. Again, in the hydrotreating catalyst, that the catalyst actually the COMO or NICOMO, they are all present as a oxide form when you start using it. So that oxide form is very less active. So to make this, that sulfide form is more active, and that's why sulfiding is required. So we basically develop a process, the patented process, and basically wherein we develop an adsorbent based technology, so that makes sulfur oil high value, that DSO. So the reduction of sodium well below the 1 ppm, and maintaining stringent specs of water and sulfur. So we have a patent granted in India, US, Europe, Gulf countries, Nigeria. So we have got the global patent, and we also got the freedom to practice for this process. And this is unique. Nobody has basically treated, developed the absorbent to remove the sodium. And our process significantly low capex and opex. It is very simple and highly efficient, and the green process. So this the RIL additive is being tested in HPCL R&D, and work in progress to utilize RIL additive to all RIL crackers and hydrotreaters. In the middle, it shows that this is our demo. This is a commercial plant pictures here. And by doing this, it shows that impact of innovation. Basically, it's given an idea like the cost of treatment and the product cost. It will be less than 200 US dollar per metric ton. And whereas the DMDS cost, as I said, it is more than 2,000. And in addition, usually the DSO oil is basically at present, the other refineries, they send to the hydrocracker and basically uh, converted to H2S. So it is saving in the refinery, it is saving the hydrogen, and also at the same time you are getting extra value by replacing DMDS. So commercial status, our presently we have a designed 1.5 KTPA plant that is commercialized and operating from 2017. And these additives are being utilized in ROGC, basically the Reliance off-gas cracker unit, Jamnagar, and CST, Center for High Technology under Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, has taken initiative to utilize RIL developed additives in all Indian refineries and petrochemicals. And this is certified as equivalent to commercial additive in place of DMDS for hydro treatment catalyst manufacturers. And we have seen its potential globally. It is around 67 KTPA that the oil can be used, which cost is 130, the potential value is 130 million per annum. And this technology basically is the winner of CST, FICCI, Golden Peacock Awards, then FI, PI Awards. These huge number of awards they got it this because of this technology development. So this is one, that is a waste to chemical example. Second, this our topics is how to sustain the plastic business without pollutions. As you know that this is a really, so many state governments and all, they have banned the one-time use plastics. And the value shows around 100 million metric tons of waste plastic is being generated, and particularly the end life plastics. So to take care of this problem, RIL has developed a novel green, the continuous catalytic pyrolysis processes for conversion of the waste plastic into stable oil. And you have so many processes. If you see here, so many the oil to the waste plastic to oil technology are available, developed by different company, but we have not seen the catalytic process. There are some catalytics, and that catalytic effect is not that much very effective, and at the same time the catalyst cost may not be cheap. So this technology basically very robust, which can handle unsegregated. Sometimes there are some technologies that you need to prepare the technology, prepare the waste plastic for the process. In our case, it can handle unsegregated as received feed. And another thing is that multi-layer film polymers. That's a really very problematic polymer to convert is. So it converts to high quality stable oil, continuous reliable process capable to address all issues reported in the thermal process, generated vast data and completed pilot scale studies, vast data bank on different virgin polymers and actual waste plastic samples, so like the end of life plastic, MLP films, etc. And we have filed a patent disclosure through PCT route. Our estimated cost shows that this yield is much better, low capex with the catalyst pyrolysis. And if I process this oil to MCC, I'll cover later, that ensures 60% circularity when he processes that. And the demo scale studies, we are already planned it, 10 metric ton per day demo plan that will be started in early next years in January. See our process, it shows in the right side is some schematic, the waste plastic and catalyst. That catalyst contains also very minimum, and it is a very low cost, and the spent catalyst generated from the refinery that will be used. And there is a catalytic pyrolysis reactor here. It's operated at this negative pressure. So the after cracking, it is rotary clean type of reactor. So the after reaction, char and Penn's catalyst is separate out. The reactor vapors, you need to cool down it, and then you will get some gas. That gas you can use for supply the energy for this reactor. Some part of it, say it makes a 10%, 5% of the gas is more or less enough for supplying the endothermic heat for this pyrolyzed reactor, and the balance you can use like for in the engine to generate power. And this shows that the circular nature of this process. So you basically you got the waste plastic here, then you convert, you depolymerize it, make the ethylene, propylene, mainly compounds. Again, you polymerize it, use a polymer, then again you use a consumptions and you make the again the goods you require. Again is ended to the end of life. Again is a generated waste plastic and converted. This is the circle. And the right side shows the waste plastics that it can take even municipal waste, then RDF that reduce that RDF general terms, the RDF as received. The process is it's very temperature is low, that is a around 450. Its reactor operates at negative pressure. And the oil is very low acidic, very stable oil, and this uh, the eliminates agglomerations, leakage, and emulsion. The negative pressure reactor design is favorable in the sense that uh, there is no chances of leakage, that the hydrocarbon leaking to the atmospheres. And we use the low cost reusable catalyst, and the catalyst to feed ratio is very, very less. So it is very small amount of catalyst. And it shows the picture. The left side is a catalytic product from the after without separation. Right side, the dark color is the basically thermal crack product. And if we distill these catalytic products, you will show here is the light naphtha, then the mid-range naphtha, it's a heavy naphtha. So this light to heavy, the boiling point range IBP to 220, and then others like the diesel components or kerosene. So the distillation cards of the law liquid that we could term it is a syn crudes. So that what I already cover, that is a slightly schematic form. It gave a comparison. The A is the base value for the thermal conventional process. And if it is a catalytic, then your gas production is lower by 5%. Liquid yield C6 plus, it will be around 9% more than the thermal. It makes about 4% lower char and loss. Liquid, you'll get mostly the gasoline cut. You'll get low the light cycle oil, and the clarified oil is very less. LCO is minus 20, CSO is minus 10. And again, because of the catalytic effect, it gives your reaction temperature is around 50 to 60 temperature is lower. So this novelty is that is capable to process as receive feedstock, MLP, these other different kind of feedstocks. Normal design is reduces vapor residence time and increase the liquid yield. Proprietary catalyst that is very low catalyst to feed ratio, and this is reasonable that catalyst can be regenerated. Liquid product, its API is 35, low sulfur. It can be directly uh, fractionate in the refinery fractionators. It may be FCC fractionators, or it may be delayed coker fractionators. So you'll get a product like all the product like the gasoline and diesel. You don't need to invest any separate treatment facilities. The existing refinery can be used for fractionating this into different products. No choking, because the catalyst basically help to reduce the coke. No choking, scaling, agglomeration, and it enhances the reactor cycle length. So as per our understanding and whatever comparison we made with the process, the conventional process are available, that is in best in class process for waste plastic conversion with high liquid yield, continuous pilot scale studies. That's over, and we have basically started. We'll be starting demo plan in January. This shows the pictures the what different kind of feedstock I can use. The waste LDP, low density polyethylene, unsegregated mixed waste, ABS, PS. It can be generated from the electronics, PBT, nylon, waste HDPE, the PS waste. So all the MLP. So these all different kind of the milk packets. These are all we have used and generated data in our lab. So then again, it given comparison thermal to liquid process here. In our case, its major components will be aromatics, monoolefins, isoparaffins, and naphthalene. So if we crack it in MCC, then we can get from monoolefins, we will be getting lighter olefins, and aromatics end up as a BTX, benzene toluene xylene. So that was yeah, waste plastic, that the process. Now this MCC, this is our really our oil to chemical process. In the future, as you know, that the prediction is that 2020 30 onwards, our transportation fuel demand will be dropping drastically, and then because the EV or like that, that the it will convert into electronic vehicles and all. So what industry will do? Those who have a refinery, so they need to basically operate the plant in such a way that instead of making transportation fuel, they have to make something else. What that? If you see the plots, I have not given details that the growth of petrochemical feedstocks, basically for making a plastics and all, is very, very high, or chemicals, petrochemicals. So if we need to operate, if I can operate the plant instead of making transportation fuel to the petrochemical feedstocks, then I can sustain the operation, as well as the profit from the petrochemicals even today is higher with respect to making transportation fuel. So our oil to chemicals total business, lot of stakes on this process development. So this process, what it does, in the first top picture it shows here, like the conventional process where crude is goes to the CDU and then is VDU, and whatever the after separation that the vacuum gas oil you have, that goes to FCC, and whatever residue like heavy residues and VR is there, that goes to delayed coker. So that the so many unit operation is there to convert this crude to make fuel, and on the process we only makes 10 to 15% petrochemical feedstocks like ethylene, propylene, and BTX. So what we are expecting from the multi-zone catalytic cracking, that will really replace all the CDU, VDU, FCC, DCC. It's not required. The crude will directly convert to petrochemicals, and each barrel of crudes will give you 0.7% of barrel equivalent to petrochemical feedstocks. And how it does. So I'm going, before going to explaining the MCC process, I just want to explain little bit on the FCC configurations. I think this, if in between, if you want to interrupt me, I think I'm just talking. If you want to interrupt or any question or queries in between comes in, probably you can stop. So I may not just continually speaking. So if any question or anything comes in between, please let me know. Right? Yes, Morris. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm not whether I'm in connected or not.
Yes, sir, you are correct. Actually, sir is in another meeting. That's why he's not like.
Okay. So basically, what I'm saying that it is one-way deliberations. If any question or anything come from that side, please let me. I mean, you can stop me, and we can. It can be a little bit exchange of dialogue. Otherwise, I'm just speaking. I am not sure that whether other end is able to hear or it's clear or not. Okay, should I go ahead?
Sir, please explain the multi-zone catalytic cracking.
Okay, that I am then I'll start that discussions. So I think if you little bit interactive, then it will be easy for me because I'm not really getting a sense that in the opposite sides are whether they are in this line or we are in the same space or not.
Yes, sir.
So in between, if you have any question queries, that will help me to keep my tempo to really go ahead. Okay, so going ahead. Uh, so before talking to multi-zone catalytic cracking, I'm just will take 2-3 minutes to explain how FCC is work, and some of you may be aware of that, but I thought that I'll just give the little details so that it will be easy for discussing MCC. So the FCC basically in the left side is called the regenerator, and the right side in the bottom zone is called the riser, and the top is called a reactor, and the bottom portion of the top zone called stiffer. So the fluid bed catalyst, that is microsphere from regenerator, which is operate at a temperature of 700, the regenerated catalyst is comes here through the this line and end at the bottom of the riser, and here the regenerated catalyst mixed with the uh, basically contact the catalyst with the catalyst contact with the feed, and immediately the feed get vaporized and started cracking. So as the temperature is here 700, so the feed vaporized with a very short time. Feed is injected through a nozzle. It give a mist kind of material, and it is vaporized. And after vaporization, the cracking start in the vapor phase, and it converted to the product like as it goes off and off, the reaction start, and when end to the riser, it goes to the cyclone, and the reaction in the meantime, when the catalyst reach to the top, catalyst partly deactivated because of the coking, and the products or catalyst mixture gets separated in the separating device is called cyclones. The product vapors from the cyclone goes to the plenum, this here, and the product goes out. and the separated catalyst, when catalyst come down, it goes to the reactor, and then stiffer. In the stiffer, basically we introduce steam. So the steam basically, whatever hydrocarbon trapped in the catalyst, inside catalyst and inter or intra catalyst particles, that stiffs out these hydrocarbons. So then the spent catalyst through the standpipe, the catalyst they comes back to the regenerator again. And how much catalyst should flow is basically controlled by the reactor top temperature, that Ti, which basically connected to the slide valve that shown in the red. So is endothermic reaction. So to meet the heat demand, the catalyst comes, catalyst started coming in, and how much will flow, it allowed to flow to that extent that when reached to the temperature, as you said, the operator set at the reactor top, and the reactor level will maintain by the blue color, that is called spent catalyst slide valve, and that maintain the reactor level. So in this process, basically FCC operates. Now, what is multi-zone? Now, multi-zone basically, if you show the picture here, it has a different zone of operations. Like it's basically single riser with multiple zone, and is a sequential cracking of different crackability feedstocks. So sequential means like less crackable material will introduce at the bottom. Why? Because bottom temperature is highest, bottom pressure is highest, so cracking severity at the bottom is highest, and cracking severity at the top is the lowest. So which is the feedstock which are less crackable, that introduced at the bottom, and then next when is relatively less crackable, then again further more crackable feed at this. So it basically sequential cracking of different crackability feedstock streams. Crude, it can take, it has a really a lot of flexibilities in terms of feedstock. It can take crudes, C4, like C4 material, carbon 2 resids, both olefinics, paraffinics, oxygenates, all kind of feedstocks. And it gives the feed product, it's more than 70% of the fresh feedstocks. And out of that, you will get ethylene more than 25%, propylene makes around 30 to 35%. And we get the BTX, that is benzene, toluene, xylene, that's more than 15%, the total yield. And this multi-zone, the MCC pros, basically, if you see it, it's basically combines three platforms. One is the high severity FCC unit. It's the stream cracker that like stream cracker of this C3, C4, propane, butanes, crack to the ethane, ethylene, ethane to ethylene, propane to propylene, and again MTO process like methanol to olefins. It has a superior heat balance by optimizing severity and crackability of the light, heavy, and oxygenates feeds along with the riser length. Because if your unit designed with a lighter feedstock, then the FCC, as you know, it's a heat balance unit. Lighter feedstocks cannot give the heat balance because it doesn't make sufficient coke to give a heat balance. So if I introduce an oxygenate basically is exothermic reactions. So it can give the light hydrocarbons, it is endothermic, and oxygen is exothermic. So combination of these two, it gives a more or less a riser heat neutrals. Or in place of oxygenates, if you don't have, you can use a heavy feed so that it generate the coke in the system, and that basically in turn give the heat balance. we have basically developed a multifunctional catalyst that contains ultra stable zeolite, ZSM5 base, and matrix based catalyst. These three catalyst combination is making such a way that it can crack the heavy lights and olefinic feedstocks. As you know, zeolite matrix basically is a high pore active material. So basically, matrix cracks the heavier hydrocarbons to make a diesel range compounds or even gasoline range. That diesel range or matrix, the gasoline range products is basically further cracked by the USY zeolite, and uh, among the states and olefins from the diesel range or gasoline range is further cracked by the GSM5 based zeolites. So basically, the it's not that sequential cracking of different feedstock to the riser. We are catalyst component also basically sequentially cracking from heavy to medium to light to olefins. That basically optimized for feeds is actually the critical element for the process, and therefore it's basically it need this continuous improvement. Whatever catalyst properties you can improve that, so that is a further we are basically improving that other like zeolites and GSM5 formulations. So the optimum combinations of the catalyst formulations and the zone that I've said, no, that the the highest cracking zone at the bottom, then middle, and then up top. That's these the combination of these optimum combination of the catalyst formulation and zone-wise operating severity that maximize basically olefins and BT exits. So that's why we believe this is the only technology that can catalytically cracks the wide range of hydrocarbons. So that's basically talked about multi-zone catalytic cracking. So it has huge flexibility in terms of feedstocks, operating condition, and depending of the objective that if you want to make maximize olefins or you combination of the olefins or gasoline or diesel, so that operation can be manipulated to get that objectives. Okay, should I go next?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So next is that agro biomass to green hydrogen. See another is very important development is basically catalytic gasification of agro biomass to green hydrogen. So as you know, this even the Reliance, we have a world largest thermal gasifier for petcoke gasifications. So we have developed dual bed catalytic gasifier to convert any carbonaceous feedstocks to syngas. So here I am specifically discussing on the agro residue. It can be even used for the petcoke and others. So if you see these data, it shows that around 220 million metric tons of agro residues available in India, the surplus agro residues. And if you convert them to syncrudes, in the general calculation, it says that per ton of syncrudes can give you around 0.3 tons of syncrude. So if you convert these all surplus agro residues to syncrudes, you can generate 70 mmtpa syncrudes. Presently, our crude processing in India around 250 million metric tons. Just imagine that how much will be the contribution if we really utilize this agro biomass for making a syncrudes. That much of potential it is. So here in our present scenario, what we are trying to explain you, instead of making a syncrudes, we want to catalytically convert to syngas, and from syngas is to green hydrogen. Why it is green hydrogen? Because the agro, whatever we convert from the agro residue, it's renewable. And as it is renewable, definitely from renewable source, if I make this hydrogen, so it should be renewable hydrogen, and that is called the green hydrogen. So that technology I am talking now, a novel hybrid given process, and this process basically demonstrated in pilot scale, and we have a good number of patent filing across the globe. The first ever, most reliable and economical process that usually, if you see the thermal gasifier, conventional gasifier, ASU is required for separation of the air separation unit to make oxygen, because it is an oxygen blown gasifier. So you need to supply oxygen, otherwise whatever syngas will get will be diluted with the nitrogen. So calorific value of the syngas will be very less. So you need to supply oxygen for heating these, supplying the heat for the gasification. So in this case, we don't need ASU because we don't need pure oxygen. We don't need pure oxygen, and the catalyst and the process, it basically it has an inbuilt CO shift, and it is a low temperature catalytic process. The temperatures in our thermal gasifier temperature is around 1450 temperature, and this can be done as low as 800 around. And as the thermal gasifier, where or entrant bed thermal gasifier or fluid bed, the entrant bed particularly, it's basically that it's a lot of the metal present in the feed is converted to the, it forms slag. So that create a lot of problem in the internals of the reactors, and that's why their on-steam factor is very less. So the present on-steam factor is even less than 3 months. Whereas in our case, it's high reliable. The on-steam factor is more than 3 years versus conventional 3 months. We have a catalyst, and that's why it keeps the syngas very high calorific syngas, where hydrogen to CO ratio is more than 3 versus thermal is 0.7, because it is a lot of CO2 is there. So, and that's why this syngas is even very suitable for making hydrogen, or if you want to use this syngas for the methanol, that also it's very suitable feedstock for making methanol. So it tested for coal, pet coke, biomass, and we obtained 100% conversion for pet coke and subbituminous coal, lignite, and biomass without any tar generation. If you see the conventional biomass gasifier as on date, whatever available, that's a major problem is the tar formation. And because of that, you need a extra unit for tar removal. But in our case, it doesn't form tar. So the right side configuration is shows here. See, left side, it shows that carbon conversion basically is a gasifier, where around 20% of the carbon getting gasified here, and the catalyst getting heat at temperature of around 800. So the what catalyst, heated catalyst basically transferred to the gasifier in the right side vessel, where steam and feed are injected. So the feed around 70% to 80% feed is gasified here. So I'll get the syngas, and then is a cyclone is there. From cyclone, whatever catalyst is entrained from the gasifier bed, it will send back to gasifier bed, and the syngas is basically passed through a syngas cooler. So you generate high temperature steam, and then this you take whatever catalyst and this thing is, this is a filtration system. So remove this all, and then you remove the H2S, and then is a CO2 capture process. You remove the CO2, and then send the clean, get the clean syngas. And if you want to make synthetic syngas, somewhere that if you need more methane synthetics SNG, then you can recycle this syngas to make more methane on that. So this site, this syngas, you got it, and its maximum, the hydrogen content is very high, as high as 55 to 60%. And whatever CO is there, you make the CO shift a very small amount, and then you get hydrogen. And the left side, there is a catalyst is here, and there is a withdrawal vessel. This will be required when you process high ash Indian coal, because the ash content will be very high. So here, this vessel basically segregate the ash and catalyst because we taking an advantage of density difference between the ash and catalyst. So the ash is taken out, and the separated catalyst is sent back to the combustor. And the combustor top the flue gas. The flue gas is high temperature. So again, you have a cyclone, the separation, and then you whatever heat is there is you get flue gas cooler. You generate steam or power. Even you can put the PRT, power recovery turbine. Then if you have a NO2 restriction, then you have to put a NO2 removal system. And then after separations and all, filtrations and all, char, whatever is there, then you SOx removal, then CO2 removal, and send to the stack. So this is the two bed fluid bed circulating fluid bed systems. This picture shows the zero tar in case of catalytic gasification, whereas the right side is a thermal. And so expected benefit, because of their high reliability and very less complicated hardware systems, the capex estimated is around 40% lower, and the opex also compared to conventional thermal processes, and is ideal process for high ash Indian coal, agri residue, pet coke in the to methanol. And also this is presented to Niti Aayog, and he has shown the keen interest for demonstrating this technology. So this give the one kind of comparison, the highest Indian coal, thermal versus catalytic, and then agrobiomass thermal versus catalytic. So it shows that you can compare that the syngas calorific value, it much higher. It is 2,917 versus 3,671. Similarly, in this case, So the calorific value is very high for catalytic process. Then the capex, opex, so that's the number. It gives a good idea how beneficial it is, and give an idea if you want to from syngas to diesel, it's 100 metric tons per annum. These highest Indian coal can give you 25 metric tons of the diesel, the BS6 diesel. So like that, 250 metric tons of the biomass can give you 60 million metric tons of synchros or green methanol or green hydrogen. So now the next topic is that RCAT HTL. So this is Reliance catalytic hydrothermal liquefaction process. So this process we have basically started with algae to oil, and now it is proven in the pilot plant. It is basically around 10 barrel per day pilot plant, agro waste, the food waste, MSW, organic feedstock, slash, industrial waste. So this shows here the schematic here. This is a left side, your different feed. This, then the waste hauling, and then you take the pre-treatment. You have the waste segregations and pre-processing here. Whatever the metal parts and although you just reject it, the organic extrusions. Then is the day feed tanks. From there, the feed conditioning. It basically you need a feed. The solid material can be around 20%, 20 to 30% in this liquid. That slurry you pump it, heat it, and send to the RCAT, the HTL reactor, which operate at a temperature of around 300 and a very high pressure of like 200 kg pressure. And then this organic all material converted to the hydrocarbons, and then there will be some solid char will form. So this you filter it, you get the biochar. This char has a very high value for as a fertilizer because it's all nutrient is there. So that can be used in the as a fertilizer. Then you do the separation from these oil water, and that green crude you will get, and that can be upgraded and basically get the all product in the refinery. So it's very energy efficient process. Uses water in waste as a reactant and recover the fertilizer rich water. This water also can be used. Of course, you have to see how it can be transported and uses. This is very highly fertile water. It gives and drop in renewable crude as a product. So energy dense liquid crudes compatible with petroleum crudes and can be processed in existing refinery infrastructure. No change required in the even engine technology. So it's a green solution to world growing energy demand using waste as a resource. So this given an idea that what is the global scenario, how much MSW food waste and the agro waste and STP slash, so and the Indian scenario. So this, if we can process it, so it can generate in the world, the globally it can make 4 to 5 billion barrels of oil. In Indian context, 300 to 400 million barrels. The crude, synthetic crude can be produced. So this process basically we had 35 plus patents, and presently we have demonstrated to pilot scale 10 barrel the total feed capacity, and we are planning to develop 50 barrels per day capacity demo plant, and we have trying to see it for how quickly it can be commercialized, the process. So that gives the concept to commercialize the experience end-to-end solution for any entrepreneurs, that it can be even license it. Uh, it tested varieties of feedstocks, but the feedstock which are having huge contents of moisture, this will be very best suited, because you will be saving money or energy for drying the feedstock. So the wet feedstocks will be easily converted in this process. It has the enormous business potential for RCAT HTL. So this kind of comparison, the biogas versus 2G ethanol, then 3G bioethanol, that catalytic gasification plus gas fermentations. So this gives the idea that if you see the net profits per year and the payback period, this reasonably very good. It's 3.1 RCAT HTL for syngas crude productions. And the CO2 emissions also, CO2 emission, kg CO2 emission per ton of peak process also very low. So that gives a comparison of the 500 ton per day dry basis paddy straw as a feedstock. Then already our company declared that by 2030, this our company will our process will be net zero CO2. So this our that I'll discuss just now. It will be RIL, hydrotreated sorbent process, direct CO2 capture, low cost CO2 capture. We have CO2 utilization. How that is still lot of things going on here. Like it can make the chemicals, ethanol, formic acid, urea from the CO2 utilizations. We are developing dimethyl carbonates, DMC, or it can be used in concrete curing, or basalt rock mineralizations, underground sequestrations. So these are all getting evaluated, and the economics being analyzed to implement of this process. Then there are several options like algae to oil. We have a very big program on that. That basically CO2 capture to biofuels and renewable. CO2 and plus renewable power to fuel, waste plastic to oil, bioethanol, used tire to oil, waste cooking oil to the oil, biomass to ethanol and green hydrogen. So by this, so these all the options listed here that will be evaluated technically, economically, so that we can convert it from today whatever CO2 we are really a huge quantity of CO2 emitting. Our target by 2030 it will be CO2 zero. So this basically is that briefly I will explain that RIL, hydrotreated solvent CO2 capture process, is basically again is a two-bed process. You get the flue gas, and that flue gas is basically compressed, and then you do the heat exchange. So whatever low heat is there, you take this heat out. That goes to the FGD where the CO2 and SO2 are captured. And then this is the vessel, is a carbonation vessel. There CO2 capture is taking place at a temperature 50 to 80 degrees centigrade. This is a fluid bed. That solvent is there. It basically it is potassium carbonate and bicarbonate chemistry. So that basically it capture the CO2 and it form the CO2 potassium bicarbonate, and then CO less, I mean 95% recovery, CO2 capture. Then the flue gas goes out. Then the sorbent, it basically uh, take it out from here in the top, and then it's getting heated up. It's some the heat transfer, the networks exchange concept is utilize it, heat pump concept, so that it's solvent getting heated up. And here in the left side, we are is called regenerator, where CO2 getting regenerated, solvent getting regenerated at 130 degrees centigrade, and CO2 is comes out. That CO2 who basically use for again the as a fluidized medium to take the CO2 out, and you are getting pure CO2. So this process, the absorbent based technology using a novel, highly stable solid solvent in circulating fluid bed reactor. We have completed pilot plant studies in circulating fluid dual bed fluid based system and achieved single pass more than 90% CO2 removal efficiency. And we filed five patent, and some of them already granted, and completed design package, and then established the linkage with CO2 utilization technology. So this capex cost is much lower, the 70% lower capex, 40% lower opex than conventional, route. So with that, I just cover the all this this technology that basically converted from mostly waste to value. So first is DSO, then waste to plastic, then MCC, which is the our future technology for oil to chemicals. Then green hydrogen from the biomass. Then another alternate for basically wet feed, that is a RCAL HTL, and the CO2 capture technology. With that, I cover all this my presentation. Thank you very much for listening. And if you have any questions or queries, yeah, please let me know.
Thank you, Shukman, for such a innovative ideas. But the ideas have been translated to the technology for the development of our country. What the Prime Minister says at the Atmanirbhar Bharat. So we are very much grateful because initially it is planned. I mean, it is planned means what the chemical engineers concept, that is doing such type of fuel things from pyrolysis and such type of thing. But that is a very old technology, and these are all modern technologies.
Yeah.
Where I was in a meeting, but simply I switched on the YouTube channel where whole your presentation I could view. So many avenues you have discussed. So
Yeah.
really, this is wonderful. I don't know whether our young, the budding engineers, they could get this opportunity to translate the ideas into action, like what you people are doing. So we are very much grateful to you. Our next speaker, Dr. Shaurya Ghosh, has already joined. I could speak a lot of things about you because we are, long years association with
Yeah.
this Reliance Probe, Dr. Arshit Das and others.
Yeah.
But that let me allow, don't like to speak all such things now, discuss, because our next speaker has joined. But
Yeah.
we are really grateful. This is a very wonderful evening. Just one day is there for the Christmas Eve. And you have boosted us with the very innovative ideas. So thank you very much. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Das, and thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Mondal.
Thank you once again very much for giving me opportunity to
Yes, yes.
share our ideas.
Our that 12th January, the national youth day program, I will send you,
Yeah.
Sukumar, and also all the participants, because this time it will be both online and offline mode, so
Yeah,
that
right.
all you can participate and get the spiritual
Correct.
thoughts. Okay,
Correct.
thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
with this, I welcome Dr. Shaurya Ghosh, my one-time colleague, and currently the principal scientist Water Technology Division, CSIR, Central Glass and Ceramic Research Institute, Kolkata, India, and also the Associate Professor, Academy of Scientific and Innovative Research, that is known as ACSIR, CSIR India. His research areas contain the process development for treatment and recycling of various types of industrial wastewater and emerging contaminants, pesticides, pharmaceutical and personal care products, removal from wastewater, application of indigenous ceramic membranes of various pore sizes, surface modified ceramic membranes, hydrophobic, low-cost adsorbents, membrane bioreactor, and ceramic membrane integrated photobioreactor processes. He has got a lot of awards. She received research grant under fast track scheme of ACRB and also funding assistance from DST and DBT, Government of India, for various research prospects. As please, he has supervised 5 MTech theses, 4 MSc projects, 7 PhD theses, 4 of them are awarded, 1 submitted and 3 ongoing. She acted as mentor in DST Women Scientist project and obtained a number of best paper awards in various conferences. She published about 45 research papers in reputed international journals, about 72 papers in conference proceedings, and 1 patent she has filed. So this is about Shaurya Ghosh. So I request Shaurya to start her deliberation. Shaurya, please.
Thank you, sir, for your introduction. And sir, is the presentation visible?
Yes,
Hello?
Shaurya, it's very nicely visible.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, sir. So, good evening to all of you. I am really thankful to get such an opportunity, and thank you so much, Samiji sir. So, today my topic is on ceramic membranes for water and wastewater treatment. So, these studies are being carried out in the Water Technology Division of CSIR Central Glass and Ceramic Research Institute. So to introduce our laboratories, it is the one of the pioneer first 4 CSI laboratories established under the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, and the institute is actively engaged in development and research work of various types of glass, ceramics, and related materials to maximize the economic, environmental, and societal benefit for the people of India. And lot of products are delivered for the strategic section of the country. So today's my topic is on ceramic membranes for water and wastewater treatment. So I give you brief idea of membrane-driven separation processes. So what is a membrane? It acts as a selective barrier, and we place a feed to pass through membrane. It has selective pore sizes, that is the semi-permeable membrane. So based on the pore size, or there are so many other driving forces, separation takes place, and accordingly the feed is getting concentrated, and we produce the permeate or the treated water. So membranes are basically of 2 types, biological and synthetic, and the UPAC classification is defines membrane as 3 ranges based on the pore sizes. One is the macroporous, that is greater than 50 nanometer. Then the mesoporous membrane between 2 to 50 nanometer, and the microporous is the lowest pore size, that is less than 2 nanometer. Now, the classification of membrane processes based on the driving forces, you know that microfiltration is a pressure-driven membrane process, and the operating pressure is generally low, that is 10 to 40 psi, whereas ultrafiltration is bit high pressure, but the pressure is 10 to 100 psi, where it separates biological colloids and macromolecules, and it covers a wide range of separation. Then comes the nanofiltration, which require around 100 to 500 psi, and pore size of such membranes are less than 2 nanometers. So we use this for separation of the dissolved contaminants and the organic molecules. So reverse osmosis, you all well know, it is high pressure membrane process. It is required pressure is 100 to 800 psi, wherein the all suspended and dissolved materials are retained by the membrane. So we use it for salt separation from the stream. Then the process dialysis, which acts on the concentration difference, and the typical retained molecular weight is generally greater than 1000. Electrodialysis, it acts on the electrostatic forces, that is the voltage difference, and the separation is non-ionic and macromolecules. Then gas separation is another area of membrane process which requires the pressure difference of 1 to 100 atmosphere, and the typical permeate are gas and vapor, which are impermeable gases and vapors. So membranes through ages, if we consider, then the first generation membranes are the liquid membrane. Then comes the second generation membrane. This is the widely used membrane available in the market. Those are the polymeric membranes. The third generation membrane is the ceramic membrane or the inorganic membranes. And then comes the fourth generation. This is the combination of ceramic and polymer. So these are called ceramic polymer composite membrane. So if we go for the polymeric membranes, those are the commonly used polymer materials are used, that is PP, polytetrafluoroethylene, polyphenol difluorine, cellulose acetate, etc. These advantages of these membranes are they are easy to prepare, can be given tailor-made pore sizes, they are low cost and provide symmetric structure. However, such membranes carry some disadvantages also. That is the low stability in the chemical and mechanical environment. So these membranes are also less prone to attack under harsh chemical condition, and they cannot withstand high temperature, and it is difficult to reuse such membranes, so they have a less life compared to the inorganic counterparts. So the ceramic membranes comes here in the picture, and it provides a pathway of sustainable nature for water and wastewater treatment technologies. So if we go to the history of ceramic membrane, the development of this third generation ceramic membrane was in France 35 years ago. Since then, the various countries are engaged in ceramic membrane research. Among them are the France and Germany and Netherlands. So in India, CSIR CGCRI is one of the pioneer lab which prepares indigenous ceramic membranes for various selective applications. So the characteristic of these ceramic membranes are there is a thin film which cover a macroporous support. So the basic nature of the membrane is symmetric or asymmetric. However, mostly it gives for the asymmetric structure, wherein the coating is given to cover the produce the smaller pore diameter. The membranes are available mainly in tubular configuration, but now these are in capillary as well as in the hollow fiber combination, and they allow the tangential filtration, and the membranes provide high permeability, and most significantly they have the resistance to withstand high temperature and work under high pH condition. Such membranes are easy to wash and can be thoroughly cleaned for reuse purpose. They have a long life compared to the polymeric counterparts, and but the problem is they are brittle. Otherwise, these membranes show greater longevity in during the industrial operations. These membranes can be cheaper if properly utilized. That is, the initial cost of such membranes are high. However, if they can use properly, then it will give a longer life and the operating cost will be lower. So this gives a schematic view of filtration through a ceramic membrane process. You can see that from the tubular channel, liquid is flowed and bacteria and other turbid and suspended contaminants are arrested, and air diffusing is provided to remove the layer of the accumulated layer from the surface of the membrane in order to get the flow at a sustainable rate. These are various types of tubular channel configuration. You can see it is either in single channel or multi-channel configuration. It is in circular channel geometry, or there may be star or any other configuration. The preparation of porous ceramic support and membranes are carried out in CGCRI. So these asymmetric membranes are characterized by a multi-layered structure with progressively decreasing pore sizes. The thin membrane layers are generally deposited over a mechanically strong porous support. It is generally made of alumina or clay and alumina mixture fired at high temperature greater than 1500 degrees centigrade. And over the porous support, selective layer is given for separation of smaller particles. And the usual technique for preparing this support are dry pressing, extrusion, paste processing, colloidal processing, centrifugal casting, doctor blade or gel casting, etc. So this is the typical microstructure of a ceramic membrane. You can see the asymmetric structure is very much predominant. The lower is the porous support, that is the high pore size is shown. Over it, the filtration layer is given. Gradually, the pore sizes are reduced depending on the coating given on the membrane surface. This is another ultrafiltration membrane. It is the channel multi-channel configuration. Here also you can see the asymmetric pore structure arranged in a layered manner. So the future candidates to build a sustainable pathway for water and wastewater treatment technologies are the ceramic membranes and the counterpart, that is the ceramic polymer composite membrane for very deep wide variety of water and wastewater treatment applications. Now in CGCRI, the ceramic membrane, while is the heart of the water technology division, there are different classified area. One is the support preparation. It is done in single and multi-channel capillary configuration. Then we apply coating on such membrane, that is the microfiltration, ultra and nanofiltration coating. We produce hydrophobic ceramic membrane. So all these are made from alumina, zirconia, titanium. Then the application involves drinking water, wastewater, brackish water, and grey water treatment. Then we develop membrane contactor process for CO2 capture using some reactive absorbents. Water treatment, drinking water treatment using ceramic membrane for iron and arsenic removal. Then we apply wastewater treatment using membrane bioreactor technology and membrane photobioreactor processes. Also, we work on various types of industrial wastewater treatment, that is textile, tannery, pharmaceutical, electroplating, and many others. So these are some of the ceramic membranes prepared at CSIR, CGCRI. So mostly these are single channel and multi-channel. There are outer diameter is 35 mm, inner diameter is 25 mm. Generally, there are either 19 channel or 7 channel configuration, and length of such membrane are 1 meter. These are various types of membrane prepared in different configuration. That is, the diameter of the supports are reducing for to obtain high surface area for selective application, that is called capillary membrane. And these are the very thin hollow fiber membrane, that is 2 mm by 1.5 mm ODID. This is the microstructure of the ceramic ultrafiltration membrane based on zirconia. So this is the prepared on 19 channel support tube, and this shows the microstructure of the membranes, and an uniform coating is developed on the porous support. This is again another microfiltration ultrafiltration membrane, zirconia over clay and alumina support tube. So this membrane showed pore size of 30 to 40 nanometer, and when applied for treatment of wastewater, it resulted in turbidity removal of 99%. Then considerable reduction of COD, BOD, oil and grease was achieved with complete removal of total suspended solids and MPN, that is the most probable number representing the microorganism concentration in the water. This is the titanium ultrafiltration membrane prepared for very specific drinking water application. And this is a single layer coating. It is membrane is able to make the water completely free from pathogenic organisms, turbidity, organic matter, and BOD/COD. So there is the study going on to scale up this technology for drinking water treatment in very contaminated locations. This is another membrane, synthetic apatite powder coated membrane over 19 channel clay alumina based porous support. So this membrane showed very low pore size of 2 to 6 nanometer. So this is suitable for the nanofiltration ranges applications. While applying the coating, no surface crack was observed. So this is a defect-free membrane preparation was achieved. And then the continuous membrane surface average pore diameter is 35 nanometer. This is the capillary membrane element module. This is used for carbon dioxide capture, that is gas liquid contacting operations, wherein the large surface area is required and separation occurs across the surface of the membrane. So in the area of drinking water purification, CSIR CGCRI is engaged for years to produce potable water free from iron, arsenic, and other turbid and saline contaminants. So there have been technology developed in for mono and multi-channel configuration. Porous ceramic elements are used. So the institute had installed various in various locations number of iron and arsenic removal plants. So there have been 39 number of membrane-based iron removal plants of 5,000 LPD capacity in the northeastern zones of the country, and also 12 number of iron removal plants have been installed in various locations of West Bengal, Tripura, and Meghalaya. And then the 43 number of iron and arsenic removal plants at various locations for to provide safe drinking water at the border security force located in Nodia district. So this work is funded by PhD. Technologies developed at CGCRI. So the porous ceramic element preparation technology is developed in mono and multi-channel configuration. Ceramic membrane-based technology for iron removal from groundwater, and then hybrid technology for simultaneous arsenic and iron removal using nano-sized adsorbent and cross-flow microfiltration. So there have been number of patents applied international and national, and the patents are granted. This shows the community plant installed for contaminated arsenic and iron containing groundwater treatment. So this water quality as per WHO recommended limit for arsenic was achieved, and also for iron. The technology operates for simultaneous removal of both arsenic and iron, and there is low volume of sludge generation. This shows the performance of a big ceramic module, that is 55 element MS module, using turbid tap water under different turbidity. So the feed pressure range is 1 to 2.2 kg per cm square. This shows the picture of the raw groundwater collected from deep tube well and the treated water obtained from the ceramic membrane process. This is a household ultrafiltration unit prototype for domestic purpose. It has been developed. It constitutes number of capillary membranes of very thin channel configuration, and the effective length of each capillary is 150 millimeter. So the inlet pressure is 100 psi, and the molecular cutoff of the membrane is 35 kDa. So this is suitable for domestic water purification as well as lab scale experimental studies in membrane bioreactor process, and also ceramic UV process in various types of wastewater treatment. This is the typical arsenic removal plant installed at various places of West Bengal for community applications. So this is the iron removal plant. This is the iron removal plant installed at our CSIR housing complex. And these are the various picture of various plants at northeastern location of the country. So this is the finished module and frames at factory, and this is the PVC module. This is the low cost module prepared to reduce the initial cost of the membrane process. So this technology has been commercialized. This is the river water purification unit. So it works on combination process of microfiltration and reverse osmosis. So initial pretreatment is done by MA process. So the river water source is the water from Ichamoti river at Taki, and the capacity of such membrane plant is 8,000 LPD. So the recent activity involves the 8,000 LPD arsenic and iron removal plant in the district of Malda, and then providing the required plants at the broader security forces at Nodia. So these are the technologies transfer has been done. So several licenses are there in CGCRI who has taken the CGCRI technology for this arsenic and iron removal from groundwater. Now coming to the wastewater. So the ceramic membrane technology is also used for wastewater treatment, and various types of wastewater are used, that is the textile, tannery, municipal and domestic. Among the textile effluent there are classifications. So one is the sulfur dye containing toxic water, another is the reactive dye containing effluents. Then in tannery also we go for primary clarifier effluent, secondary as well as the composite effluent. Coming to the municipal wastewater, it contains various types of emerging contaminants like pesticides and pharmaceutical and personal care products denoted as PPCP. Domestic wastewater involves the water in the kitchen sink, that is the highly oil and rich and organic rich wastewater, and the wastewater collected from the residential complex. So the main processes are used. One is the membrane photobioreactor process used for wastewater treatment. It generates biomass and biofuel as the byproduct. Then the treatment and recycling of effluent of industries such as textile, tannery, printing. Then the emerging contaminants like pesticide and PPCP. And then we also work for waste to oil, that is the toxic sludge from wastewater treatment process produced is converted in a value-added product, that is glass. So arsenic waste has been immobilized in glass, and then heavy metals are also immobilized in glass matrix. So this is the schematic of a textile wastewater treatment process using ceramic membranes. This is a combined process wherein the ceramic microfiltration membrane is used with a waste-derived bioabsorbent for treatment of textile dye house effluent. There are so many textile industries, small scale, located in and outskirts of Kolkata. They are using various types of reactive dyes as well as sulfur dyes for dyeing the clothes. So we collected the effluent from such industries and applied the combined process, that is the biochar was derived from sugarcane bagasse, and it was combined in the ceramic microfiltration process. This is the membrane microstructure before use and after use. And the treatment process resulted in had the 91% COD removal, had the 93% total organic carbon removal, and had the 99% removal of dyes, suspended solids, as well as heavy metals. So the treated water is suitable for recycling in the industry itself. So we conducted the reuse part of the treatability, reusable study of the treated effluent. So in collaboration with the industry, the membrane treated water was provided to the industry, and they had reused the water in the drying process itself. So these are the various types of cloth samples showing the picture of the control sample as well as the treated water sample in order to compare. And you can see that the light, medium and dark shade dyeing was used with fresh water as control and membrane permeate as experimental. The color intensity of the dyed cotton fabric was measured in terms of K/S values, which showed that the process was effective for the light shade dyeing, and wherein the good fixation was obtained with that membrane treated water. But as we go for the dark shade dyeing, low fixation was observed due to the high TDS content of the effluent. Now there is the membrane bioreactor process was developed based on the ceramic ultrafiltration membrane for treatment of textile effluent. So this is the microstructure of the ultrafiltration membrane used in the study. This is the untreated textile effluent and this is the ambient treated textile effluent. The toxicity of the treated effluent was studied using a fish living system, and the study indicated no significant toxicity was observed on the application of the treated water. So This is the another case study wherein the ceramic membrane-based MBR process was applied on cosmetic effluent. That is, the water was collected, wastewater was collected from a spa, and it was analyzed. So, three major contaminant was located. One is the dye, another is surfactant, another is the triclosan. So we observed the removal efficiency using our MBR process, membrane bioreactor process. This is the ultrafiltration membrane used for the study. And we found that the treated water was free from color, triclosan, as well as surfactant content. And the cytogenotoxic potential of the effluent was studied on a living system, that is this fish, wherein the oxidative stress and detoxification aspects are studied using various characterization like enzyme assay and comet assay. So it showed that the effluent was free from this toxic effect, and it can be safely discharged into the environment or can be reused for various other applications like gardening, car washing, floor washing, and several other usages. This is the characterization of the wastewater before and after UMBR treatment, that is ultrafiltration induced membrane bioreactor treatment. And this process was found effective for a combination of bacteria like this E. coli, Bacillus species, Pseudomonas species, and Shigella species. So when applied this consortium of bacteria, it worked best, and the coupled with the ceramic ultrafiltration membrane process, about 98.6% removal of color and 98.66% removal of COD was achieved from the raw textile effluent. And also the effluent was free from toxic impact. So the UMBR process proved to be a highly efficient and convenient technology for treatment of wastewater, both on quantitative and qualitative parameters. And the process, UMBR process, is a green process which does not produce any toxic sludge in comparison with the chemical driven treatment processes. Another part of our work is the ternary effluent treatment. You all know that ternary effluent contains significant number of inorganic and organic toxic contaminants. So the wastewater production is also high in our country. So we applied the ceramic membrane technology for treatment and recycling of such wastewater. This is the membrane-based prototype installed at the premises of Bantala Leather Complex, wherein the dual membrane module works to produce the treated water, wherein the feed water is the water coming from the secondary clarifier, and the water was further treated for reduction of the organic content and other partial dissolved content reduction. And this water was studied for the reusability in the wet processing of leather. So Central Leather Research Institute (CSIR) CLRI, that this study was done in collaboration with them, wherein the treated water and both the fresh water was used. Fresh water system was used as a control purpose. The process enabled COD reduction of 70% and turbidity reduction of 98%, and where higher dye uptake was obtained for the treated water sample. So this is the leather piece dyed with the experimental, that is the membrane treated water, and this is the control fresh water sample. The significantly higher dye uptake was obtained in this leather sample. So it provides the emerging the potential for the ceramic membrane technology for recycling of large amount of ternary effluent in the leather dyeing process itself. This is very different results for the pilot scale study installed in the Bantala leather complex. So this is the flux with time, and this is the permeate characterization. So the proposed treatment process was quite effective in reduction of organic and other interfering impurities, which would have otherwise rendered effluent from secondary clarifier unsuitable for reuse. So the membrane process acts as a polishing step for recycling of the effluent produced from the conventional wastewater treatment plant. So this is another sample of control and treated water for the leather sample, where these samples were analyzed for the physical characteristic. You can see the comparable performance is obtained for the treated water used sample, that is in terms of tensile strength, tongue tear strength, and grain busting strength. So all these parameters are comparable. So this sample shows comparable mechanical strength, and also the dye uptake was found good. So this can be used effectively in the wet finishing process of leather tanning. Case study 4 is the ceramic membrane. This I have already discussed in bit, so I am skipping this slide. And so now I am coming to the arsenic remediation and toxic sludge management in glass. So the arsenic is removed in various separation processes, but then it produces a concentrated sludge. So there is not yet very much reliable technology for utilization or disposal of this toxic sludge. So in our study, we addressed this process problem, and we had developed one iron nanoparticle by green root using aloe vera gel. And this is the iron oxide nanoparticle produced. This was used for arsenic 5 remediation. This shows a very beautiful microstructure, and when you this is the TAME image and this is the FESEM image. So this was used for arsenic removal in high concentration in synthetic water as well as the real contaminated groundwater, and high adsorption capacity for this nanoparticle was observed. After removal of arsenic, the arsenic loaded nanoparticle was used in the glass matrix for glass preparation. And we found that up to a considerable percentage of the arsenic loaded sludge can be immobilized in the glass matrix. The glass is a safe option for toxic material immobilization. That's why the nuclear wastes are immobilized in the glass bits. So this work is a very interesting work, as well as it carries strong potential for immobilization of the arsenic sludge, and this colored glass can be used for bottle or the building applications as well as ornamental glass items preparation. So the leaching study showed no arsenic leaching was observed in the glass, and these colored glasses show high thermal stability. Another work is the waste to wealth. It carries a tannery industry waste utilization. So these are the tannery sludge containing chromium and other toxic pollutants. So we had prepared a surface modified biosorbent from this sludge. This was used for multi-metal removal in the battery industrial effluent. This is the untreated effluent and this is the treated effluent. So this, after removal of metal, there is a 4 types of heavy metal were found, that is cobalt, lead, nickel and cadmium. These metals were completely removed had the 96% removal was achieved. Then this metal loaded sludge, this is the microstructure. This sludge was used in the immobilizing the glass matrix. So up to 30% of metal laden sludge could be incorporated into the glass matrix. While the studying the leaching study, no leaching of the heavy metals were found during the experimental region of the study. And as this glass is also contain color, so it can be used for building and ornamental applications. And this is the technology for immobilizing toxic metal containing waste into safe glass. Another work is the treatment of high lead containing toxic effluent produced from the printing industry. So this effluent contains high percentage of toxic heavy metal, that is lead. So we had used our sludge-derived biosorbent in arresting the heavy metals, absorbing the heavy metals. Then the metal, after adsorption, the effluent was treated by the ceramic microfiltration process, and this is the treated water produced. So the applicability of the treated water was studied on the seed germination process and plant growth. So it did not show any toxic effect in seed germination, because completely about had the 99% lead removal had been achieved with 99.9% removal of TOC and COD. So this had enabled detoxification of the hazardous effluent. So this effluent can now be treated effluent can be safely reused in either agricultural or any other applications. And the product is the 30% of spent biosorbent in clay could be used safely to prepare bricks. So this is the outcome of the project. Apart from detoxification of a toxic effluent, it can be producing biosorbent incorporated bricks. So these bricks were shown reasonable compressive strength. So this is the achievement in our work. Another part of our work is the membrane photobioreactor process for biomass and biofuel production using industrial wastewater. So this application demands hydrophobic ceramic membrane. So these membranes were indigenously developed first time in our country, and this you can see the picture of this hydrophobic ceramic membrane, which shows high contact angle value 147 degree. And now we have developed super hydrophobic membrane, which shows far greater than this contact angle, that is greater than 150-degree contact angle value. And this membrane was used in a photobioreactor. So the Arthospira species was cultivated using wastewater, and through this membrane module, CO2 gas was dispatched time to time. And this shows the day 1 picture, and this is the day 6 picture of microalgal growth. So the membranes resulted in high CO2 mass transfer coefficient, and enhanced biomass growth was observed. This is the schematic of the total process. This is the membrane photobioreactor, wherein the simulated flue gas is introduced in the wastewater medium, and biomass is grown here. This biomass is again harvested through a membrane-based filtration system. So this is the harvesting unit, wherein the ceramic UF membrane is used for concentrating or harvesting the algal biomass. And we have used brewery industrial effluent in this biomass cultivation process. So it resulted in high lipid containing biomass production, resulting in biodiesel yield of 38%. So our aim is to still increase this biodiesel yield, and then 99.9% removal of BOD, TOC and nitrate was achieved in the process of the bio-CO2 sequestration and biomass production. These are various types of membrane module fabricated at CGCRI, that is the single, 2-element and multi-element module suitable for the photobioreactor application. This is the membrane-based photobioreactor, wherein the biomass is cultivated. And these membrane modules are arranged in various configuration to see their effect on the mass transfer. So this is the alternate position, and this is the consecutive position of membranes. So when we summarize the result of the experiment, growth rate and CO2 sequestration in lab scale membrane photobioreactor with Arthospira species. So we found that 24-hour interval of CO2 providing is optimum for higher biomass growth, and this resulted in considerable CO2 sequestration also. So these are various type of wastewater used in the photobioreactor process. You can see that over 90% removal has been achieved after the algal treatment. So in terms of COD, BOD and all other parameters, the wastewater is significantly treated. This is the industrial effluent tannery water was used in the photobioreactor process, and the algal biomass could manage to survive in the harsh operating condition, and then the process resulted in considerable reduction of the parameters. So when we compared our membrane's efficiency in terms of the CO2 dissolution in the photobioreactor, we found that we are in the very encouraging position. That is the this is the hydrophobic capillary ceramic membrane, and this resulted in high value of mass transfer coefficient. So we are quite competitive with the hollow fiber membrane system in the higher side, and just below the bubble diffuser rate. So our objective is to achieve the more high mass transfer rate, and we are working on this area. This is the comparison of the biomass production and productivity capacity. So this also shows that the ceramic capillary membrane, we have introduced this first time in the in globally. This indigenous ceramic hydrophobic membrane based photobioreactor process has been established first time first time, and this is shows that Arthrospira species can be produced in a provide a high productivity rate. So this is the membrane-based photobioreactor broad view of this. These are the membrane module used for CO2 dispersion in the algal culture media. Wastewater is collected and then given in the photobioreactor at a controlled flow rate. And then we use simulated flue gas mixture in the system, and the system is provided under stirring condition. CO2 concentration is analyzed time to time, and then algal biomass is collected from the port and then analyzed for the biofuel value. So the treated water is collected is again recycled for either biomass production or if the other reuse application. This is the total organic carbon removal profile in the brewery industrial effluent during the photobioreactor process. You can see that over 120 mg per liter was initially, it reduces to close to zero. That is complete TOC removal was achieved. And this is showing the biodiesel obtained from the biomass, cultivated biomass. And at optimized condition, 41 weight% of algal dry weight lipid was extracted, which gives 38 weight% of biodiesel by manual extraction method, which can be increased further. This shows the harvesting picture. Microfiltration and ultrafiltration membranes are used. This shows the FESCM microstructure, which are used for biomass harvesting purpose. And this is the post-harvesting membrane characterization after prolonged use. So this membranes, advantage of this membrane is they can be completely cleaned and reused again. So the flux could be completely regenerated after the biomass harvesting operation. This is the treatment of kitchen wastewater used ceramic membrane-based bioreactor technology. This has been installed in our institute itself, wherein the canteen wastewater is treated in the membrane-based bioreactor plant, and the treated water is used for toilet flushing applications in the institute. This is the pilot scale membrane bioreactor process. Some data are shown. So the process can completely remove the pathogens and microorganisms so that the water is suitable for reuse purpose. And then COD, BOD, all other parameters are considerably reduced in the MBR process. So in summary, the potential of the ceramic membrane-based process, these are cost-effective and eco-friendly process for treatment and recycling of industrial effluent as well as grey water and domestic water. Combination of ceramic membrane technology and biosorbent enable one-stage treatment of effluent with remediation of dyes, COD, heavy metals, and other emerging contaminants, producing RO quality feed. The ceramic, that means the water can be directly used then in the RO process for complete removal of the TDS. The ceramic membranes are operable under extreme pH of effluent, allowing rigorous cleaning with low fouling and higher yield process. There is low sludge production, low space requirement. Membranes are modular in design and easy to be scaled up. Integrated process enable recycling of wastewater, which is a step towards zero discharge of wastewater. Then these challenges towards acceptance of the ceramic membrane-based technology is the pore size reduction of such inorganic membranes are still challenges. That is in the nanofiltration and RO range. Because in the high temperature process, there is controlling of the pore size is a bit difficult. And another is the cost reduction of the membranes is another major issue. So initial cost of such membranes are high. So the studies are going on for lowering the cost in order to wide commercialize such products. So the future potential of such processes can be the treatment of waste liquids and gases, liquid processing including drinking water, domestic water, food beverages, product recovery in various industries. Due to robustness, ceramic membranes are developing faster in the treatment of liquid wastes than other sectors. Ceramic membranes are now able to provide long and reliable service life in many processes where polymer membranes cannot withstand operating conditions like also the cleaning procedure in terms of mechanical, chemical, and thermal resistances. So I acknowledge the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, ACRB, Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology, Government of India for providing financial supports for continuing this study, and also Director CSR CGCRI for granting his permission in carrying out the work. So thank you very much all of you for your patience sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, Shoja, for wonderful, innovative ideas. In fact, sometimes some of our students also were involved for your work in Mantala and other premises. But I did not know that so beautiful things has come out because of such work. So this is really wonderful. And the ceramic membrane module is potential for this particular work. So that is also, I mean, it is an area which is very thought-provoking. So I express my sincere thanks and gratitude to all of you, the students, those wish to carry out the research career. They can contact the CSIR. There are certain openings also sometimes in a project fellow or the research scientist scheme, particularly by applying that CSIR NET exam. So that is really one area where those are interested, they can, I mean, their thoughts and their interest that can be, I mean, utilized using this following method. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, so much. It has been really nice to deliver the talk, and I remember my long association with you. So in
Yes,
future
surely.
also we can work together. And also, sir, thank you so much.
Yes, sure. This time our that they, I already mentioned. I think that time you joined that National Youth Day program on 12th January. That is Swami Vivekananda's birthday program. So that will be both in online and offline mode. I mean, the main program would be held in that EJCC, that Bhartiyam Cultural Complex of Government of India, Ministry of Culture. But the organizer is the Vivekananda Institute of Environment Management. So I request all the participants, I request all the, I mean, the resource persons, and particularly on that day, those can join physically. We will hand over the mementos and some felicitation to those, and those they can, they for them we will send it the token gift memento. to their address. So that is the idea. But if you can join, if anyone can join, then please come, take the noon prasad, and then take the blessings of Swami Vivekananda. So that is the idea. Our
Thank you, sir. Surely I will tell. Thank you, sir.
yes, our next speaker has not joined. He is a very aged person, and also he has got a lot of other, preoccupations. He is a member of the DST team, the fluoride task force, arsenic task force. Professor Ornavo Majumdar. Earlier, he was the director professor of All India Institute of Hygiene and Public Health, Government of India. So probably his schedule will be some change, because I was from last 3 hours I was trying to contact him. I could not contact him. Maybe he has gone out, or gone out means for some high power committee meeting or somewhere. So that is why we declare this session closed today. We will have some alternative things afterwards. So that is the idea. The You have taken the attendance. So thank you very much. Okay, bye bye.
Hello, class is over. Hello, guys.